was kind of shocked actually, because don't really. I feel there's so many other people in this valley that do so much for the valley that deserve it more than I do. I'm just a dirt farmer out here, just doing what I do, and hopefully that's one of the tools that I can use to create some good in the valley by hopefully using our profits from the company to help some people step it up again. We had a little small farm that we had more for our own family's use than where we had cattle and chickens and that, and had some of our own crops. And we had a little apple ranch out on Green Valley Road. But my real enticement was I used to ride with my dad, and he used to sell pesticides for a living. So it was kind of interesting to become an organic farmer after that. And riding with him when I was 7 or 8, 9 years old, I learned a lot from him. It just showed me how things work and how crops grow, and I really gained an interest in it and decided that I wanted that to be my career. So after working about 2 years in a grocery store, I decided to go for it, and bought my first tractor when I was 16, and bought one tractor for $1, one for $800, but couldn't afford a pickup because I had a tractor. So eventually I got a pickup though. So after graduating, just stayed at it, and back then it was all conventional, but we were growing beans and squash and cucumber for Del Monte at the time, and did just pretty much everything ourselves. Drove our own trucks and tractors, and moved the pipe and all of the above, and pretty much struggled through it. Had no money. We really shouldn't have been farming because we had no money. We were operating off our own money, and the banks would just laugh at us. So, but it took a while to get our feet on the ground, and built it up over the next 20 years. Become one of the larger conventional farmers in the valley at the time, and then evolved into Lakeside Organics, which we started about 20 years ago, and started the organic company on a small 40-50 acre parcel, and just built it up over the years to what it is today. We're farming about 2,000 acres here in the Pajaro Valley and about 1,000 in the Imperial Valley. So met my wife Marcella. She was a friend of a friend, so I had one of the girls who was working for me on the farm introduced us, and she was engaged to my wife's brother, and so I got to be friends with them, and just friendship evolved over the years. We got married back in '92, and moved out to Aromas, built a house out there, and looking out over the valley so we can keep an eye on our farms, and have 3 kids. So have Ricky's my youngest there. He's driving tractor for me now, and Amanda's the middle one. She works in the office, and she has my first granddaughter, Amelia. It's my first granddaughter that we're very proud of, and then Ashley's my oldest, and she's running the California Grill, and that's kind of that's all about our family. Something a lot of people ask me, why do you donate? Why do you somebody told me a while back, they said, "You're an idiot." And I said, "Well, what do you mean?" He says, all the money you donated for these deals, you could have bought an airplane. And I said, well, like we're putting money into this learning center, and I said, long after I'm gone, the airplane will be sold many times to somebody else, or crash and burn or whatever, but hopefully the learning center will live on and teach the next generation and the generation after that, and that's far more important to me than having an airplane. I'm flying to the desert this afternoon, and I'm taking my corporate plane. It says Southwest on the tail, and it's about $50 a flight, and I'll be sitting with everybody else in there, and I'm perfectly happy getting there and back. So it's quite an honor to Man of the Year. I still kind of in awe over it, but it's every time they hand me an award, I have to go back and think of my family that supports me every day, and the employees. I often preach that I can't do this. It's really, every time I get an award, I feel it's an award for the company, it's an award for the employees and for what they do. So there's a couple of guys, if you go into the California Grill, there's a couple of guys on a mural right there, and that's Jorge and Chava, and they said, everybody asked me, who are those guys? And I said, those are the guys that make me look good. I said, every day when I go out in the field and they're working out there with us, both those guys have been with us over 20 years, and and they just take such pride in their work that, and it just breeds through the whole company. You know, and then also, you know, the chamber, I really have to thank the chamber. I mean, I think that a lot of times we just do what we do, and we're not really thinking about, you know, thinking about awards and ceremonies and stuff like that. So, so I think it's, you know, it's really, it's important for me to know, for people to know that, you know, we're so proud to be part of this community, and I think it's an awesome honor to have Man of the Year when I just think it's the community that makes us who we are.